think it's kind of exciting that you have a brand new asset class.
No one in the world can do that. Flip. Yes. No one in the world can do that. Flip. Yes.
That's Ilia Malinin, the Olympic figure skater everybody's talking about right now. I just think this guy is incredible. I don't know anything about figure skating, but I think it's so amazing when someone's so good at what they do that even people who know nothing about it can just tell that they're the very best, and they just ooze it with their passion, blood and guts. This guy's just absolutely incredible. When I was watching this guy skate for the first time, when I was watching the Olympics, I actually sort of got this kind of depressing feeling as I was watching it. And I thought to myself, I wish I would have learned to do something like this, where it really gets people's attention and, it's something that's celebrated, that I could be proud of, and I thought crypto, is the thing I'm the most passionate about, but it's certainly not a spectator sport like this. But you know what? I started thinking about it, and I thought, when I heard him say, no one in the world can do this. Listen here again at the beginning.
No one in the world can do that.
No one in the world can do that. So I think he does a quad axle, they call it, where he spins around 4.5 times, and he's the only one who can consistently do it. But the other day, about a week ago, we had what looks like the bottom of the crypto market, and the digital asset guy, I re-entered the market on XRP at $1.16. When you look at XRP's bottom down there, let me just pull it up here on the coin market cap. When you look at it on the year chart, it was recorded, at least on coin market cap, at $1.21, and we just flash crashed down there. And I posted on my YouTube channel earlier, I'll show you the day before, this one, bear market bottom incoming, the day before. This was on Wednesday. Excuse me, still coughing. This was on Wednesday. The next day, this happened, and I even called some family members, said, hey, I've been thinking we're going to bottom, and I think this is it right here tonight. I was able to buy and get that execution price. Some people are saying, oh, you could have just made that up. Maybe you really didn't. You can believe whatever you want. I've got the emails to prove it. I don't need to prove it to anyone but myself. But, that was not chart analysis. That was pure instinct and emotion and just the skills that you acquire by living this market every day, all day for the past decade. It's almost like training for the Olympics or something. You're trying to be the best you can be. I watch the crypto market absolutely every day, every hour, multiple times, maybe 10 times an hour. I am constantly in this market because I'm fascinated by it, and it's changed my life so much. I can't help but be fascinated and kind of obsessed with it, and so I just thought to myself, why not be my own cheerleader? And I made this post to kind of celebrate it. And I do think it's cool. I think it's as cool as what Ilia does, even if there's not many of us that think it's cool, but I think it is cool. And this is my version of absolutely nailing it. This is my Olympic gold medal moment. This is my, nailing that quad axle, or running that time, or whatever the Olympic game is that you like. This is my Olympic game, and I absolutely nailed this one. Will it be the actual bottom? Kind of looks like it. If it's not, we go back down again. But for now, I have nailed the bottom at $1.16, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm very excited about it because I think we're starting a new cycle. And if you really zoom out and look at XRP, looks about right. People always tell me, if this crypto is so great, it wouldn't go down. Folks, it's not going down. Look how every bear market is a little bit higher. And if this is where we stay, it would make sense. And then if you look at Bitcoin, it's the same way. Every bear market is higher. You're never going to have a market that's just steadily going up. You're going to have blow-off tops, bear markets, bull markets, because people can buy and sell. That's the market psychology, and every bear market is higher. It is going up macro. You just have to zoom out and look at it and acknowledge it, and this would make a lot of sense for this to be our bear market bottom here. Maybe we'll go lower, maybe not. But the thing about crypto, and this goes into the kind of why I made this channel, with even if you're the very best in crypto, you do not get this. Of course, the video won't load. No matter if you nail it right on the penny, if you 5x'd your net worth in 1 year, making the right move at the right time, you absolutely nailed that thing and you nailed the landing on 1 foot, you're never going to get the crowd applauding for you in crypto. At least not right now. I mean, the way that we do handle it, from time to time you might get a fellow crypto warrior. Some of my good friends might call me on the phone, people I met at the conferences, and we might, reminisce about it and share things. But there's definitely, crypto's not a spectator sport, and that makes it difficult. It makes it hard to keep going. So just something to think about. I would not have been able to do it without I Trust Capital, where I do all of my buying, selling, holding crypto. You can hold it in an IRA or in an all-new premium custody account where you have institutional grade custody, 1% trading fees. You can also own gold and silver. So I'll put a link down below. Here's something interesting. This is Chris Giancarlo talking about the Clarity Act.
I fell down the crypto rabbit hole at the end of the last financial crisis. I've always looked at crypto as a better architecture of finance. And I still look at it that way today. Of course, it's an awesome new alternative asset class. But far more important, I believe, is its role to underpin the new financial system. It's a digital network architecture of finance. It's in all of our interests that we have the type of national legislation that we had back in the 1990s, the Telecommunications Act, that unleashed the first wave of the internet. It gave it a sound legislative and legal underpinning. I think we all need a sound legal underpinning so that whoever is elected in the next presidential election can't, at a whim, as it was done in the last, become hostile to this innovation. If we put the American economy on a digital network architecture, we're going to win the next century. We've got to have that legislation, I believe.
So I think that's very telling. And Chris Giancarlo, he's been around the block. He used to be the CFTC chair. And I just think that's something to really pay attention to. Shout out to my hero, digital asset investor. My hero, been like a second father to me. Good stuff. And then also, here is what President Trump says. The U.S. is exploring ways to accumulate Bitcoin for the Treasury Reserve. And remember, we also have a digital asset stockpile. If we can get it to play.
Commerce departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers. The Treasury and Commerce departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers.
All right, so I know that when the U.S. government confiscates Bitcoin or digital assets from criminal activity, that's one way. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to fund this thing, but they're going to have to acquire Bitcoin and crypto. And remember the cryptocurrencies, the digital assets President Trump posted about on his post about the digital asset stockpile. XRP was named first, followed by Solana and then Cardano. Then an hour later, he said, "Of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum will be included. I love Bitcoin and Ethereum." And for that hour before he added that part, the Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis were throwing a fit. They were going crazy. But anyway, you can look at that tweet. They're telling you what they're going to do. And a lot of people are not listening. So, people call us crazy, but I mean, we've been telling you for a while through the Ripple SEC lawsuit. Guys like digital asset investor Brad Kimes, Digital Perspectives here, the founder of XRP Las Vegas, they were telling us we're going to win this lawsuit. We need this lawsuit to get legal clarity as a non-security for XRP. It came true. When we call these things, nobody says anything. But before we call it, people call us crazy. And that's just kind of how it goes. So, I just wanted to show on my YouTube channel here, going along with the beginning of this video, talking about how it's like training for the Olympics. It's a lifestyle. Some of these shorts that I've made, my goal was to show the life of a cryptocurrency investor and a real believer. This video here, I was up at 3 a.m. This was when I realized we probably weren't having an alt season. We weren't going to get a $10 XRP. We were topping, and Blockchain Backer came out and said that he sold a third of his portfolio. And in this video, I said it shook me to my core tonight to read his post saying that. And, this is like the Olympic training. This is why it's hard to date and have relationships, because when they don't get it, they don't get it. And if they don't want to get it, they're not going to get it. And it sets you apart from other people. Investing in crypto, it is nothing like investing in the stock market. I mean, it's so much more volatile and day by day, hour by hour. It's not anything like real estate investing. I mean, just not even in the same universe. It's nothing like, it's nothing like having a job, nothing like, it's not a charity. It is just its own animal. And here's my Blockchain Backer short, which is my most viewed short, up to 8,600 views. It's a good one, And then I also wanted to show a clip of when Ilia blows one of his jumps, his quad axles.
Has yet been made.
So difficult. Huge sequence here. Quadlets, half loop, triple flip. Slipped off his edge.
Oh, man. It was honestly painful to watch where the pressure just took advantage and just took over, and he kind of folded on his routine. He went from first place to 8th place in 4 minutes at the Olympics, I think yesterday or the day before. And that just killed me. And I thought he was so mature how he went up and hugged the first place guy who actually won. And then he explained to the the interviewer, he said, the pressure was just too much and I blew it. I mean, I heard him talking, excuse me, I am still dealing with this cough, dry air. I heard him talking and he said that the pressure was so strong, he skipped his last practice because he thought that it might make him worse, and he had a really great practice the practice before. So he went ahead and skipped his last practice. He thought it would be the best thing to do. I kind of understand that. But, going along with my experience in crypto, I'm really not trying to brag or say like, I nailed it, down to the penny on this low. I bought it. I'm so great, but I've failed so many times in crypto. I've went from first place to 80th place in 4 minutes before. I've been hacked. I've made all the mistakes back when I was a college kid stumbling into crypto. And there's a saying, the master has failed more than the student has tried, and I believe that. And that's why this is such a tough ball game, because it's a lifestyle. You've got to live it. And crypto, it's going to take you about 10 years to even get started, to get almost good at it. And like I said, there's chart analysts that are amazing, like Blockchain Backer. He's my Olympic gold medal legend. But then some things like this, this was not chart analysis. Like I said before, this was just purely emotional and sentiment, looking at the posts I was seeing on X, watching what I was seeing on the media. And this was just instinct and knowing, I've been in this moment 2 or 3 times in this last 10 years at these bottoms. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I know what it smells like. This is it right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I am hitting that execution button. And that's what I did. And it's kind of like my Olympics. I know people will probably laugh about that. I don't care. I think it's awesome. And I'm very proud of it. And I think Ilia is really awesome too. Feel so bad about what happened, but I think people watching the way that he dealt with it gracefully and professionally, I think that made the world a better place. I really do. All right. That's going to do it for me. Before I go, nothing that I say or show on these videos is financial or investment advice. Just my own personal thoughts and opinions. Digital Asset Guy out. Thank you.